Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So today's video is going to be, a little bit more of a vloggy style video, kind of an update on what I'm thinking in my collecting or my collecting journey, so to speak. And I'm calling it the chopping block. These are the fragrances that are on the chopping block whenever I get to that point where I want to start removing fragrances from my collection to make room for new ones. Let me make it very, very clear right now. I am not doing this right now. This is not a sales video. It is not a giveaway video. I'm not getting rid of anything in my collection at this point. I don't know when I'm gonna do it. If I ever do it and I want to involve you guys in that process, trust me, I will let you know. But if someone comes into the comments saying somebody done won something or messages you talking about somebody done won something, that is a scam. I'm just letting you know now. All right, I'm not getting rid of anything right now. I'm just simply sharing my thoughts. But if you're familiar with the show on Food Network, Chopped, where they, basically chop you out of the equation if you didn't perform up to standard, that's kind of what this video is. I'm not trying to do like a game show or anything. That's just what I'm calling it. But I've got technically 13 bottles, but it's more so 12 fragrances. You'll see why. And I'll just kind of go over why these fragrances are definitely going to be ones that are probably going to go first when really my cabinet, I think, just gets too full to hold everything. That's probably when I'll start doing this. These are going to be the ones that I think I need to get out of there to make room for the ones that are going to be ones I want to keep in my collection. So before we get started, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like this content, and remember, hit that bell icon. I don't know why I did a thumbs up. Hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. Alright guys, first couple ones are going to come from the house of Perry Ellis. First up is 360 Red. Perry Ellis 360 Red. Now I've already kind of given this fragrance the business in a previous video before. I think this is on my most successful video to date, the blind buys video that I did, like the first month I even started. Still can't believe that video got as many views as it did. But this is as far as I know and as far as I can tell, I don't really see that much of a comparison. It's kind of there, but it's meant to be kind of like an Acqua di Gio fragrance, but with a spicy take on it, meant to introduce cinnamon and things like that, some nutmeg, and honestly, I don't really pick those up that well, or at least I don't pick them up in a way to where I think it's very believable, and that's understandable. These fragrances are, let's just call them very affordable, but I really just don't like the smell of this. I wanted to try to check it out at a store, but I never saw the red. I always saw the original 360, which I had as a kid, so I already knew about that one. But yeah, this is pretty much just a blind buy disappointment. I haven't worn it. I've tried to wear it, but I haven't worn it since then, and I'm not gonna wear it in the future, so this one would have to go. Now, to be fair, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space in the cabinet, so it's not that much of a space saver, but this one would definitely be on the chopping block. I'd probably lump this into like a cheap bundle if I were gonna sell it. Oh, by the way, if you don't see any B-roll, let's just say I am not about to take out the time to make B-roll for any of these fragrances that don't already have a B-roll made, so just FYI. But anyway, Perry Ellis 360 Red, that's going to be one of the first ones to go for sure. Alright, got one more from the house of Perry Ellis. This is America. Perry Ellis America. It may seem like I turned it the wrong way. Wow. It may seem like I'm kind of picking on Perry Ellis here. I'll be honest, they don't have a lot of fragrances that I think are really that interesting or that well done, but they do have one newer one that I want to revisit. I'm not going to mention it in the video, but this right here, I already kind of knew what it was. I heard from another content creator that it is, it's an Aventus clone, and they were saying it's a pretty decent one. What I will say is it does smell like Aventus, but the quality is such a major drop off. It smells so freaking cheap to me. I'm like, I cannot believe anybody would suggest this, to be honest. I'm not gonna say who it was, I'm not trying to throw this under the bus, but I would never recommend this to anybody. It smells so freaking cheap. This was a blind buy for me. I couldn't get my nose on it, but I was actually at a Perry Ellis store buying a suit. I needed a suit quickly. Happened to see that they had this. It's like 35 bucks. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and grab that. I'll check it out. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. $35, I wasn't crying about it, but yeah, it does smell very close to Aventus, but it just smells cheap. overall, especially when you spray it on skin. It smells even cheaper, which is weird to me. But yeah, this one I would definitely give away. Somebody might be totally fine with it. I just know for my standards and what I like in fragrances, this does not even come close to making the cut. Once again from Perry Ellis, this is America. All right, next up we got Ed Hardy for Men. I don't even know if I can hold this right. Ed Hardy for Men. I imagine some of you have probably experienced the Ed Hardy fragrances. They were never really super expensive. They're decent. You know, it smells decent. You know, let's just call it that. It smells decent. It's not anything mind-blowing as you wouldn't expect it to be. These fragrances are not meant to be higher level perfumery. They're just meant to be functional. I think it is. This was gifted to me, and I don't really plan on wearing it. So that's why I would rather maybe give it to someone who would actually get some use out of it. I don't know, it's kind of very artificial smelling, kind of fresh, clean, barbershop-y, almost not full-on barbershop, but fresh, clean with a little bit of a spicy touch to it and woody touch to it. That's kind of the best I would sum it up. But anyway, yeah, Ed Hardy for Men. I would definitely either put this in a cheap bundle or maybe even just give this away. I'm pretty sure somebody would get more use out of it because I'm just definitely not going to wear it. Once again, Ed Hardy for Men. All right, next up, we got a couple from the house of Guess. This is Seductive Noir here. Guess Seductive Noir. Is that the name of it? Seductive, yeah, Seductive Homme Noir. I can never remember the name of this. So listen, I got this blind buy, obviously cheap. You can find this at the rack stores. And listen, I thought it smelled nice at first, but then I kind of revisited it later because I actually hadn't really worn it. And there is this almost cleaner, like synthetic smell. And I don't like using the word synthetic when I describe fragrances, but that's actually just what this smells like. It smells like a synthetic cleaner, like smell just kind of hiding on the undertone of this fragrance, and I cannot look past it. Last time I just kind of revisited it, I sprayed it on my skin. I'm like, what is that? That smells awful. It smells horrible. It may just be me. It may just be something with my skin, but as a result, this has got to go because there's no way in hell I'm ever gonna wear this. So, I mean, it's a sweet, kind of spicy, a little bit fruity, woody fragrance. It's meant to be, you know, kind of like an attention-grabbing night out fragrance, right? It's their night out version of the Seductive line, which is, I don't know if I'd call it famous, but I mean, it's kind of well known. You know about it because it's very affordable. So some people might pick that up to get started. But other than that, I gotta get rid of it. Honestly, I used to have the original Seductive. I didn't really like that one that much, even back when I had it, but way before I started collecting. So anyway, this one would be moving out of my collection whenever that time comes for me to start making room for other bottles. So anyway, from Guess, this is Seductive Homme Noir. All right, and once again, another one from Guess. We've got 1981 Los Angeles. Guess 1981 Los Angeles. Another blind buy for me. Another one I just kind of heard about. Heard it was a really good, inexpensive fragrance. And I got it, and look, I did like it, but I definitely noticed pretty quick, and I might have even heard it and just forgot, that this is relatively similar to Versace Eros. It is an alternative to Versace Eros. Now, I actually like this better than Eros. This one I think is most notably has the plum accord in it. I think that's kind of the main thing that sets it apart and what people tend to like the most about it. But if you know anything about my channel, if you've been watching it for a while, you know I'm not a big fan of Eros, so why would I be a big fan of this? And it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, like I said, I do like this better than the normal Eros DNA, but not enough to really wear it because I'm just not that big of a fan of the Eros DNA. So this one, it's got to go. And I know somebody else will definitely enjoy this because a lot of people like Eros DNA and they like this one too. So I would rather give it to someone who's actually going to wear it. So once again, from Guess, 1981, Los Angeles. All right, next up, speaking of Eros, Versace Eros, Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum. Yeah, I need to get both of these out of here. I am not gonna wear these. I don't care for the Eros DNA that much. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying people are wrong for liking it. I get why it's a popular seller, but it's just not something I really want to wear. And even with both concentrations, I can't detect the differences. One is a little bit more mellow. And I thought I liked Parfum, but then when I got a little more familiar with Eros, and that was way early on in my collecting, I didn't pick it up because I'm like, I'm not gonna wear it. I don't like the Eros DNA like that. So both of these ultimately have to go. As you can see, though, these bottles are both like halfway gone. I actually got these in a sale off of a sales group from someone who had them bundled up with a bunch of other fragrances, and primarily there was 2 or 3 fragrances within that bundle that I wanted. So I was just gonna pay him for those 2 or 3 or whatever it was, and these were included. I didn't want these, but he counter offered with a price that was so freaking good for all of it. I said, yeah, just give me all of it. He clearly just wanted to move all of it out. So that's the only reason I have these. I did not buy these on my own otherwise, and that's why they're so empty. I have not worn these like that. I've tested them on skin just to see how I feel about them, and I don't like them. So Versace Eros in general, they gotta go. Now I do like Eros Flame. I'm gonna keep that one. All right, next up, coming from the house of Frank Olivier, this is oudVanille. Frank Olivier, oudVanille. Now, this was in my worst pickups 2023 video, and I gave my reasons as to why I had it on that list. And it's the same thing here. The only reason I would probably move this out of my collection is because I have Bond number 9 Nomad, which this pretty much smells exactly like. Not, maybe not 100%. I wouldn't even say it's a clone of it. I think this actually came out before Nomad, so both of them are referencing something else. Oud and Rose, though, with fruity Oud and Rose, it's not a very unique DNA in terms of Oud and Rose fragrances, but Bond number 9 Nomad, it's such higher quality than this is. This does perform, so does Nomad. So it's like, I'm not gaining anything by having this. I just have a lower quality version of the same thing. Why don't I just wear the high quality one? And I would wear Nomad over this. So that's the reason I would pretty much move this out of my collection, because it's just gonna sit there. If I did not have Nomad, I'd keep this. It probably would have been on, maybe not the best pickups, but it would have not been in the worst pickups. But that's the only reason Frank Olivier oudVanille, I would move it out of my collection. Somebody would enjoy this, so I would want somebody else to be able to use it instead of it just sitting in my cabinet. So once again, Frank Olivier, oudVanille. All right, next up from the house of Hugo Boss, it's the Scent Private Accord. Hugo Boss, the Scent Private Accord. Obviously, this was another one, if you saw the video, this was another one that was on the worst 2023 pickups. I gave my reasons for it. I don't think the fragrance is bad. It just did not impress me as much as I thought it would. So for that reason, it's not gonna get a whole lot of wear out of me. Now it has grown on me just a little bit. I really did not like it when I first got it. I was like, man, I was hoping to get this fragrance and this is what it is. Yeah, I was hoping for nothing. It's grown on me a little bit more, so it's not that bad, but it's not gonna get a whole lot of wear. And out of the scent fragrances I have, I also have Absolute at this time. I definitely would grab that one over this one. So this one's probably just gonna be sitting on my shelf a lot. And it's a standard size bottle, but it is bulky. So if I needed the space, this would be one I would be willing to move if it ever came down to that. And I bet you there's plenty of people that would really, really enjoy this fragrance over me. So why hold on to it if I'm not gonna ever wear it? And also, I don't think it's much of a staple piece that I just wanted in my collection. There are some fragrances that have that kind of value to where even if I'm not wearing them a ton, I think they're just that good. I want them in my collection. This does not meet that criteria. Once again, from Hugo Boss, the Scent Private Accord. All right, next one is Halloween Man X. Halloween Man X. Now, if any of you guys are new to collecting within the last 4 years, I would say from 2020 up to like 2022, you've probably heard about this one. I still consider it to be a great, inexpensive pickup, especially if you're just getting started. Kind of introduces you to some slightly gourmand facets in fragrances, coffee, whiskey, sweet accords, ambery fragrances. This was amazing when I first got it. But I have obviously gotten stuff that is just far better than this is at this point. So I'm not gonna wear it anymore. So I would rather give it to somebody or sell it to someone who would really enjoy this and wear it more frequently. Definitely wore it plenty when I first got it. But like I said, I've experienced and acquired things that do what this does at a much better level. That's the only reason this fragrance is on the chopping block, because I still do enjoy the scent. And I also know some people like to say it has a burnt hair smell. I think that's the roasted coffee in there. That's not the best quality ever, kind of giving that vibe. I can understand it when I heard it, but it doesn't bother me. I don't think burnt hair while I'm smelling it. But other than that, I know this is a fragrance somebody else would enjoy, so I would rather get it off my shelf if I needed the space. So once again, this is Halloween Man X. All right, next one's coming from Zadig and Voltaire, and it's This Is Him. Zadig and Voltaire, This Is Him. I do know I put this in I think I called it like a letdown video or something like that, so I have talked about this one before. And this was one I was very interested in the sandalwood aspect, the vanilla notes, and I got it, and it just did not really do anything for me. It's a style of vanilla I don't like. I can't really explain it. It's just, there's a style of vanilla that, for whatever reason, I don't really enjoy that much in perfumery. It just kind of bores me, and also I just kind of don't want to smell it anymore. That same style of vanilla is used in Parfums de Marly's Altair, and I mentioned that when I did my kind of rundown of that fragrance, and this one kind of shares that same style. I'm not saying it's the same vanilla per se, it's just the way it comes across. It's in a way I don't like. So this one here was just a letdown. I think I've worn it once, and that was kind of really just to test it. I didn't enjoy it, so I have not worn it since. So it is literally just sitting on my shelf. So if I ever needed space in my cabinet, this would be one of the ones that's going to be at the top of the list to be moved out. Because I also know a lot of people like this fragrance, and somebody else would definitely enjoy it. So I don't want to just hold it if I don't really like it. Once again, from Zadig and Voltaire, it's This Is Him. All right, next up from Narciso Rodriguez, Bleu Noir Parfum. Narciso Rodriguez, Bleu Noir Parfum. This was definitely one of the ones on the Worst Pickups 2023 list that not stirred up controversy, but was noticeable. Let's just put it that way. It was one people definitely noticed that I had on the list, and I know a lot of people really like this scent. I tried to like it, it's just not doing it for me. So, and this is a big bottle, so if I need space in my cabinet and I want to move stuff out, it might as well be this one, because I'm not going to wear this again. I've tried it a few times. I have no desire to even try it again. It just hasn't worked. I don't know why, but it is what it is, so I might as well move it out of my cabinet. And as you all can see, I have no problem being very honest with fragrances that are very well hyped up, very well pushed in the community. And I'm not saying these people are lying. I think people that genuinely do like this. I love iris scents. This is a good iris scent. It's just something about it that does not resonate with me. And I would rather wear the other iris fragrances I have in my cabinet, all of them, over this one. Every single iris fragrance I've got, this one is at the bottom. So why even keep it? Once again, from Narciso Rodriguez, this is Bleu Noir Parfum. All right, and the final fragrance for this list from the house of YSL. This is Y Le Parfum. YSL Y Le Parfum. Look, I've already given my opinion and my displeasure of this fragrance and the Y line in general. It's a line that is heavily hyped. What in the world is that? It's like skunk all over this. Anyway, this is a heavily hyped fragrance line. It's a heavily liked fragrance line. So I'm not saying the hype is unwarranted. People really enjoy the YSL Y fragrances. And this was very apparent when I first started consuming fragrance content. So obviously I went to check it out, and I honestly wanted to like them. For whatever reason, actually the more I've smelled them, the less I've liked them. It's the same with this. This one was the one I did like the most when I got it, so I was like happy when I got it, but I ended up not really wearing it. I wore it a few times, but honestly I didn't enjoy the wearing experience that much. So it's one that ultimately has become a shelf sitter and a dust collector, which is probably why I'm seeing all this crud all over the atomizer. I don't know what that is. But anyway, yeah, I need to move this fragrance. I'm not gonna wear it anymore. It doesn't do anything for me, and somebody would happily like to have this fragrance. I know a lot of people enjoy the Y line and this one in general, so somebody else would definitely be using it instead of it just sitting it on my shelf. So it's gonna be one that's gonna get moved whenever I start doing that with my collection. So once again, from the house of YSL, this is Y Le Parfum. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. Once again, these fragrances are not for sale right now, nor am I giving any of them away. I'm just sharing my thoughts on where I am at within my collection. So, hey, let me know down in the comments below What are some fragrances you have felt the need to just get out of your collection, mainly to just make space for ones that you do want in there, so you don't have to buy another shelf right away? I probably will have to buy another shelf at some point, but I really don't want to do it if I've got a number of fragrances within my cabinet that I don't use anymore, don't really want to have there anymore. So I'd rather move them out first, then fill the cabinet up with stuff I love, and then buy another cabinet. I appreciate you guys watching all the way until the end. Remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.